fam, how are we doing? Come on in the room. Whoa, come on in the room. I gotta find my tambourine. We got so much to talk about. Maybe it's in Atlanta. So won't you come on in the room now? You sing, come on in the room. Whoa, come on in the room. Yeah, we got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. I said we got so much to talk about. So won't you come on in the room? Come on. Hey, Star fam. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh, yikes. Yikes on bikes. What a weird time we're in. This episode was bad, y'all. I did not think that it was going to be this bad, but yeah, it's bad for our girl. It's bad for our girl. She can't talk her way out of this one. She cannot talk her way out of this one. It's bad, mama. It is absolutely bad. But before we get into it, because I'm pretty sure everybody has their opinions, and we will let them all speak. But I want to get into the comments. Just welcome everybody into the room, and we can go from there. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me check. Did I put this in here? Because I know I did. Hold on. Bam. Done. I didn't. Let me just put this in real quick and I'll fix it later. Kenya Moore hair care. And we're done. How is everybody? I feel like I'm sinking. How is everybody? Let me get into the comments right quick. Guys, I knew she was wrong. I didn't know it was going to be like this. Like, this is bad. This is bad. Cordelia said, I'm glad people walked out. It was way too far and dark. It absolutely was. E for empathy, replying to some people, said, yes, she was. I knew something went down, but I didn't know it was that bad. I'm pretty disgusted by it. Same. E for empathy said, it was so validating to see other cast members react the same way I did. I didn't know what to expect, but it wasn't that. The crazy thing is how illegal it was, and she did it on camera. Yep. Hold on. I think one of you guys, hold on. I think y'all sent me something. Oh, no, I didn't. I saw it on, continue, girl. What is going on, Google?
What happened is that Brent made a comment.
Okay. Who is this? This is who? Yeah, let me take that. Okay, so I saw something and I thought one of you guys sent it to me, but you guys didn't. It's okay. I'm actually going to talk about it in the review. So Lisa Parker says, oh, gracious, I'm afraid to see what y'all are talking about. Girl, I was not expecting that. I'll be honest with you. AV bro, what's up? Said, come on in the room, Lady Nikki. Hola, everybody. Hola, indeed. Guys, I am seriously looking into moving to Mexico. Listen, I watched Schindler's List. I'm not going to wait around. I'm not going to wait around to see how bad it gets. And I'm seriously looking, child. Seriously looking. Hey, Vaca, thank you for being here. Vaca said, I hope Kenya finds another show that would treat her great. She is too good for this show. She has been through enough. I think she's going to find another show, and I think she's going to find life at Bravo again. Hello, Alicia. Hey, Ronnie, thank you for being here. Sugarcane, hey, y'all. Sarah said, hey, Nikki and Star Fair, what's up? Alana said, YouTube did their job for what? It's in my notification. It was on time. Amen. Hey, Megan. Hey, Shed. Hey, Caroline. Mama Star is here. Mama Star said, hello, Star family. I hope you all are having an amazing day today. Thank you for being here, Mama Star. Ronnie J said, I got on as soon as I saw it. Thank you, Ronnie. Cordelia said, so happy to catch a live. Thank you for being here. Alicia said, pulling Kim Field's chair was when I was done with Kenya. I gotta be honest with you. I never like fully recovered from that with Kenya. It was just like intense bullying. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't like this is a part of the show. It was just like, girl, you've gone too far. And maybe if somebody would have pulled her by the coattails then, maybe we wouldn't be here. Maybe if that behavior wasn't celebrated, maybe we wouldn't be here. Lisa said, hi, everyone. Happy live, y'all. E for Empathy, thank you for being here, Lisa. E for Empathy said, hey, Nikki, happy Tuesday. This episode was a lot. It absolutely was. It absolutely was. And when I get off of here, I have to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Shamiko says, night, Nikki and chat. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. Nikki, tomorrow is my birthday. You sing happy birthday for me. Thanks. Love from St. Kids. Do you want me to sing it now or when you're in the live tomorrow? Because I'm doing a Beverly Hills live tomorrow. Hey, JL. Thank you for being here. Ronnie said, saddened that Kenya would do something that Jocelyn has done on Zeus. Oh, I don't watch Zeus. That channel is demonic. Like, yikes, a newbie got you out of there, sis. It just seems so weird. That's why I'm just like, what happened? This just seems so odd. I'm like, is there more to the story? Because it seems so odd, guys. Vodka with 3 Olives said, Faye did worse. Here's the thing with the Phaedra situation. Phaedra made a comment, right? That was, she made a comment and I don't think she recognized that. Like, I think she made a comment like Britt, right? Britt made a threat and made a threat of violence with weapons. She didn't have it there and she didn't act on it. Phaedra made a comment that it is alleged to have been fed to her by I think Carlos King, who was a producer at the time. There was no proof. There was no backlash, right? In that moment, the backlash came when Kandi heard it and was just like, this could ruin me. The difference with this is that initially in that moment, everybody was just like, yo, this went too far. The thing with Phaedra and Kandi, I honestly think that if Kandi didn't react the way she did, Phaedra would have still remained on that show. And I think because Kandi has such a public persona where we all looked at her differently before, this is all before it all sex dungeon stuff. Like nobody really took it to heart. People were just like, oh, please, nobody thinks that about Kandi and Todd, right? But it was how Kandi felt that she could have been affected by that. So I think more of the backlash came when Kandi was just like, she's literally assuming that I would rape someone. And I don't think that Phaedra, when she said that is what she thought. She was just trying to be mean and petty because she was beefing with Kandi at the time. She went too far. She went entirely too far. The reaction was different because one, nobody believed it about Kandi. Nobody would have believed that about Kandi. And Phaedra is assumed to have been a liar, especially at that time. Like she was lying about everything, even her pregnancy. That's how we met her. She was lying about her pregnancy. So I don't think the initial reaction was as great because it just didn't have any weight. Vodka, this is way worse. Vodka said everybody is done with Kenya, but goes up for Porsha and Faye. Just ridiculous. Now listen, I got you there. I got you there with the Porsha. Porsha's beat up several people that's still on that show. So you got a point there. El Tavina said, OMG, hi, Nikki, hi, chat. This show was a damn mess. Wow. I was hoping for big reveals as to what happened, and then that was it. A Kenya crash out, mama. Love you, Nikki. Love you, too. Alana said, yeah, I didn't know she was going to go about it like that. Me either. Because I came into this episode like, get my girl back on the show. Now I'm like, you got to sit this one out. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, C. Graham. Blue Jay said, I thought Kenya had a new audience agreeing with her. Even my sister who disliked Kenya was on her side. And then she told me it was bad. I'm a little disappointed and thought we blew new air. What does that mean? Blew new air. What that mean? Break that down for me. Eva said, hey, Nikki, hey, Star fam, need this live. Work was working me. Child, been there, understand. Thank you for being here, Eva. Hey, Kaylee, how are you? NIKKI, Kaylee, thank you for being here. Is that Kimmy? What's up? Said, hey, Star fam, hey. Eltavita said, Nikki, do you think Kenya thought, Nikki, do you think Kenya thought if Kenya wasn't so desperate for our salon to be shown this season, last season production didn't show and she was pissed, she would have done this? To be honest with you, I don't know what Kenya would have done because I never knew that she would do something like this. I am gagged. I never knew that she would do something like this. Like, this just seems like so below her pay grade. It's crazy. Blue Jay said, side note, what other search engines do y'all use? I heard Google is on the downside. So what do you suggest? Yeah, it's getting bad for Google. And that concerns me about YouTube. Somebody mentioned something. I forgot. It sounds like jingle or, oh no, duck. It's something duck. People are using something called duck. I haven't used it yet. I've heard through the grapevine that it was a good search engine. It's called, I think it's duck something else, but duck is in there, I believe. Mama Star said, I'm so disappointed in Kenya because she is always talking about her daughter, and this is something that she cannot be proud of. Absolutely. What's up, Barbie Princess? Thank you for being here. Kaylee said, child, they revoking visas and sending people back home immediately in higher ed. And they was even talking about deporting American citizens. What the? This administration said, F the Constitution. The people who voted for this, may the people who were harmed by your vote never forget it and hold you to the fire every day of your life. Nisha said, I'm sorry, I might be the only one, but if you keep poking at me and want a reaction, I'm the kind of person that would give you the reaction. Kenya was done for doing this at her business event. Wait, guys, she did this at her job. I think that's what everybody's missing. This was her job. What did she think was going to happen? Hey, Cameron, how are you? Anna said, Panama is where it's at, Nikki. They use the USC. You know what? Thank you for saying that. Because ain't we strong over there? Johnny's acting channel said, hey, Queen. Hey, hope you and the fam are doing good. I love Kenya, and I understand her being mad at what Britt did, but really, Queen, that comeback, yeah, that's the thing, that you can't really defend it. Priscilla said, hey, Nikki, looking fabulous. Thank you, Priscilla. Kenya needs to venture to HGTV or a Mommy and Me type show with Brooklyn. We've been telling her to do that for years. Real Housewives of Atlanta isn't for her anymore. No. Yeah. I think she needs to come on Bravo, but more at a more mature way. I think Bravo is going to try to wheel her back in like they're doing with Phaedra. I wouldn't be surprised if Kenya ends up on Married to Medicine. I wouldn't be surprised. Anna said, I'm a Kenya fan. I hope she can reflect on all of this. Me too. Eltavita said, Kenya's always doing too much and it was rewarded by the network. Now the times are different, which is weird. I mean, I feel like if she did something bad, she would still be fine because they do reward her for bad behavior. This right here, this could get them in all kinds of lawsuits. They look at that Brit want to be famous because if she didn't need this show, she could sue NBC for a good coin. A good coin. Shamiko said, okay, tomorrow's even better. Perfect. We'll do it right before the Beverly Hills review. Nisha said, plus, the women signed contract to say her stuff can be public. I'm not Team Twirl. She did Kim feels dirty with that chair. Just my opinion. Sorry. I'm sorry about your opinion. L Boogie said, hey, y'all, I'm late, but I'm here. You're right on time. Blue Jay said, also, maybe I am too hopeful. No, not to move out of America, but I really don't think the evilness can't go far. We have more competent terrorists. Trump is not our downfall, maybe our awakening. Good, though. That's very positive of you. I'm trying to remain there. Sugar K said, yes, it's getting scary here. My mom is trying to get out of the US ASAP. Yeah, listen, I just realized this. Why did we watch Schindler's List as children? Was I the only one who's like school, like the teacher rolled in that big TV and made us watch that? Like, we watched that as children. I never forgot the people that stayed, who were telling everybody, who were telling the people who were fleeing, it's going to be okay. Don't leave. They never made it out. It was too late. Their money couldn't save them. Y'all have to realize we are being controlled by the most evil and dumbest Americans who have ever existed. They're evil and their brains are empty. We're in danger. We're in danger, and they control every branch of the government. We're in danger. Let's get back into the Real Housewives of Atlanta. My mama said, I blame production because they had to know about those blowups. Something like nobody saw that? That's crazy. Phaedra, Anna said Phaedra also had a taser physically on her behind a pillow at a reunion. Yeah, it used to get grimy. It used to get grimy. Anna said, all tea. Phaedra had the tea on the wrong escape member. Child. Mama Star said Candy was correct, and I'm glad that she spoke up because great is a crime, and they should have deleted her from the show. Mama Star has always felt strong about the Feifei incident. Dollface said some people I believed it. Some people believed it. Phaedra is a lawyer. Yep. Eltavina said I'm a huge believer of proportionality and what Britt did not warrant what Kenya did. I agree. If you feel threatened, which I can believe is a Black woman, which I can believe as many Black women go unbelieved. Absolutely. Hey, Sierra. Sierra said, really pleased with Ken finally cracking. It was obvious he was a ticking time bomb after how she pulled out Kim Phillips' chair. Can I just say, I think it's like so beautiful that everybody has held space for Kim Fields, and it's just like we all did not like how Kenya treated her. We didn't, and everybody is speaking up like, yeah, this is our moment. Tia Bia, what's up? So sorry, guys. It's like I love Danessa Myricks because her makeup, it looks like my skin. It really, really does. But for some reason, my face just feels so oily with it on. Maybe I should get some powder. Oh, wait. Tia B said, hey, hi, Nikki. I finally caught alive. Thank you for being here, Tia. Blue Jay said, girl, I was saying blue air into the situation. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes. DuckDuckGo, Sierra. That's what a lot of people are using. They like it. El Boogie said the Duck one is a paid subscription. So if you got it, good. Oh, so that's why, because I was watching some girl's video and she was saying that she was able to watch certain shows for free on DuckDuckGo. So maybe that comes with a subscription. Coos Girly said, hey, NikkiStar fam. Hey, Coos Girly. XO Chrissy said, DuckDuckGo is the browser. Saw the ad as I was coming into this live. Oh, not me speaking it up. Oh, a lot of people are liking it. It's a good Google alternative. Okay. Hey, love like you are. Happy Tuesday indeed. C. Graham said, where is Kenya's friends? They should have told her this is not it. Listen, apparently Cynthia didn't even know about it. The internet said, hey, Nikki and Star fam, just saw the live. Thank you for being here. Curb Jim 13 said, haven't seen you in ages. You are glowing. I've missed your latent personality. Thank you, Kirby. Cordelia said, do you feel like Kenya may have been drunk too since they kept showing her drinking? She didn't seem drunk, but again, have we ever seen Kenya drunk? Would we know? I just think she just did not think this through. Hey, Busola, thank you for being here. Josie said, do you think Kenya will get over on Bravo? I don't think so after her comment about Andy. I think she will. Because at the end of the day, that's not his network. And that network is about money. And it's under a big conglomerate, a big giant that is NBC. So he doesn't get the last say. He doesn't get the final say. He gave up that authority when he removed his shares to get Watch What Happens Live, because he always wanted to be a TV host. He always wanted to be talent. He never wanted to be the boss. He always wanted to be talent. So he gave up a lot of his power to become talent. So if the show is failing, and people are wanting Kenya back on some kind of show, they're going to bring her on. It's all about money. Eltavina said, Nikki, the poor whites in America must already be suffering, so no stress. They got what they wanted. Yeah, I don't want to suffer with them. Child. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's the review that I'm doing. The CR said, this is all in Project 2025. Yep. Folks who don't have time to read manuscripts, then there are YouTube creators who conceptualize Project 2025 in the video, audio form. Dacia Sade breaks it down well. Check her out. Check them out, because listen, it's scary. Sam Wallace said, Nikki, have you seen all the stuff with Grant and Juliana lately? No, Lord, what's going on? Sugarcane said, we watched it in 10th grade and I was traumatized. Yes, absolutely traumatized. I still remember the little girl with the pink coat. I was like, I could not believe that like people were like put in ovens. It was so like, I'm like, no way. That's crazy. And there are literally people today who survived that, who are living. And people voted in that administration. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yes. Trauma. Trauma. I never forgot them people that stayed. I never forgot it. And he made sure to zero in on them when that demon killed them. LSS said, to hell with that man. My entire team was eliminated last week. I'm marching and posting every Democrat. Yes. Love like you are said allegedly. And I'm so sorry, LSS. I pray that, you know, that this won't last always, that it'll turn around for you. Love like you are said allegedly the streets were saying that Ming Lee was the one that gave Kenya those poster boards because she's been begging to get on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Britt took her spot. Foolish. Foolish. Spencer said, "Hey, NikkiNicoleStar fam, I'm late, but I'm here. You're right on time. Girl, I only saw clips and that grown woman went down sad. Too sad." Lisa says, "I'm in the reddest red, South Carolina, and we watched Sinless List and Roots. But I also graduated in high school in 1997. Folks watched and apparently ignored it. I never forgot. Maybe that's why millennials are the way we are. We watch some stuff. Like I'm African American, or Black American. So Roots was like the elders had us watching Roots. Every summer you go over grandma's house, you watching Roots. We all knew about Kuta Kente. What's your name, boy? Kuta Kente. Yeah. Kaylee said, "What I used to think that too, especially Chow." LSS said, "Side note, Kempire and Nene will appear." Oh, I thought you said Kempire. I was like, yes. Kempire said Nene will appear on season 4 of The Traitors. Oh, that's awesome. Listen, Nene's good TV. She is. Roddy J said, "I do remember the taser," and Kenya responded with a gun, saying she would shoot a donkey booty, possibly, which is why I don't think production took that too seriously, because they didn't punish either for. Production doesn't take anything seriously unless the network does. Unless the networks does. Hey, Little Miss Thomas, what's up? Thank you for being here. VCR said, "Folks forget that the Third Reich was inspired by the white American system in the U.S. on black bodies." Absolutely. And a lot of people do not realize that there were a lot of black people. There were a lot of people of color who were in concentration camps as well. The CR said, "Folks forget that the Third Reich was inspired by the white American system in the U.S. on black bodies. Apartheid inspired by white America's Jim Crow. Security and fear is the U.S. main export." And that's why I'm like, the rest of the world, you need to be afraid as well, because the U.S. influences people. It influences nations in a good and bad way. The CR said, "What we built will be our demise." Child. I'm praying, Lord, spare my people. Cameron said, "I'm sorry, I've never been a fan of Kenya. I was always a Needy and Porsha fan, but this season I'm not feeling Porsha. But I really feel like production had it out for Kenya this season." Did they have it out for Kenya, or did Kenya really put herself in a bad, like, to the point where they just could not defend her? They just couldn't. Mama Star said Kenya is going for revenge on Britt. She did not like her after that back and forth at the event. Kenya went for blood. Well, she got it, and they got her fired. In this economy, some people said, "I'm scared for white women. Those economic times bring a lot more family annihilators." Well, here is the thing. A lot of people who made that vote because they thought it would harm the communities that they envy and strongly dislike. However, those people forgot that those communities have community. Those people are going to be okay. Yes, there will be some suffering, but you are going to shed more blood. Your vote was a boomerang. It was a boomerang. Vodka with Allah said, "I cannot watch Schindler's List. I would be depressed and traumatized. I watched it one time as a child. Vividly remember everything. Never again." Oh, thank you. That's my favorite one. Spencer said, you guys know when I'm always wearing this, I'm doing a treatment. It's my hair mask wrap. Spencer says, oh yes, Juliana posted a video where it said Trump inauguration party, and then she reposted the video covering up that note. Who's surprised? I'm surprised that she would share something like that living in Boston. Let me tell you something. Them racist liberals do not play. Do not play. They are liberal to the core, to the bone. Spencer said also, did you see Shantae claims she broke up with? I need to see it. I need to see it. The Nicholas Express said it's true. Kenya's essentially yet Giovanna Ming calls her job. Pathetic. Pathetic. L Boogie said Millennial and Gen X, nothing but trauma shows. Yep. I feel like we have the most empathy out of any generation. Spencer said, I watched Amistad in fourth grade. Traumatized. Yep. Give us free. Crazy. Ryan said, I just joined. Y'all talking about Schindler's List. I'm so sorry. Welcome to a NikkiStar TV Live. Megan said, yeah, and Grant replied to a commenter that he was disappointed in her and said, you'll be all right. That's why they picked him. LSS said, and Shaka Zulu, Mama Forrest family, and Queen, we watch all of them. Yes. Queen was something. And I'm going to say this one thing and I'm going to move on. Do y'all remember, because, you know, Queen was passing as white her entire life. And then she told her white man, you know, because she was so in love with him. Women. She was so in love with him. She wanted to let him know. You know, I think they're about to make love or something. And he was touching her hair and she was just like, I's black. And he beat her up and threw her out because he said, I can't believe you touched me, nigga, and threw her out, right? So she was like homeless and on the street. This is something they had children watching back in the day. Like it was a family event. We watched it all together and then talked about it the next day in the lunchroom. Children. So anyway, he throws her out in the street. And she's like, you know, she's homeless, right? And the funny thing about it is every black person knew who Queen was. They clocked her every time. Like you will always see a scene where there's like a black person looking at her and squinting. They're just like, And she's like, you know, she don't want the niggers to see her, right? So I never forgot this scene. She's homeless and she's starving and she needs something to eat. And she sees this black family eating fried chicken. She sees this and black people always clocked her, right? So they saw her and they, you know, looked away. And she was like, like trying to ask them for something to eat. And they were like not looking at her. And she was just like, I's a Negra. Please let me have some chicken. I's a Negra. And they threw her 2 chicken wings and she fell on the ground eating them chicken wings. And they were looking at her like, they were so disgusted. I never forget that. And I feel like that's what we're going to be. America's going to crumble. Black women are going to be fine. And everybody's going to be running to black women. I's a Negra. Or I like Negras. That's exactly what's going to be happening. You know what we're going to do? We're going to throw you a chicken wing and go back to minding our business. L Boogie said, like, Watership Down kids movie shown at theaters. That's why we have so much empathy. We witnessed so much trauma. We just want everybody to be happy. Eltavina said, Nikki, I love your take on that white woman trying to discredit. Oh, that black politician. Thank you. Enjoy it. I'm going to delete it because I'm going to go back to posting my La Crusade stuff. But she stitched a video of me, and I don't play that. I don't know how I can get that video down because ever since she did that, them leftists has been like coming, not actual leftists, TikTok leftists. They're not real. So they've been coming to my page, like trying to get me, but I'm just like, you don't want this. Y'all don't want this. Let me talk about my pots and leave me alone. The Nicholas Express said, do you think the future of Real Housewives of Atlanta should have certain vets in as friend roles like Adriana and Marisol? I don't know, because I just feel like that just works with Miami. I think what needs to happen is, and it's going to happen, I think they're just going to get rid of everybody and recast it with like conservative women, because we're moving into a season of conservatism. And this is why I don't understand why people vote for conservatives, because conservatism is basically just bland, boring, falling in line. It's just such an unfun way of thinking and just existing. It's strict, it's Puritan, it's demonic. It's just not a good time. So what's going to happen is they're going to recast with these really conservative people who are going to just be, there's going to be Ramona 2.0, and they're not going to get checked by the network, because at this point, everybody's going to try to appease the conservative agenda, right? And then what's going to happen, if we survive it, is we're going to get the 70s, 80s, and 90s overload. Everybody is going to just come out creatively. And what's going to happen is we're going to have people who are in the marginalized communities, people who you would have never thought would step up and say anything. There is going to be someone who throws the first brick at Stonewall. We're going to have those moments. Like that sister in New York, that two-piece, that conservative antagonizer, we're going to get those moments, right? And that is when people are going to start to get, the marginalized communities are starting to get more comfortable in fighting back. And so some people will fight back in violence. Other people will fight back in art. That's how you get the Basquiats, you know what I mean? So people are going to fight back. People are going to fight back in fashion as everybody moves to the milkmaid dresses and, the white and the tan, the taupe, right? You're going to have people who are going to be like Liberace on crack, right? It's going to be sparkles. It's going to be rainbows. Me, you know what I mean? So you're going to have people who fight that way, and that will always win. I think why we are here is because we have allowed mediocre people with no leadership anointing to have a platform. And that is the problem. Like, why in the hell is Gen Z taking voting advice from Theo from Road Rules? Why is Joe Rogan the most influential political talking head? That uneducated 5'2" fool was given a platform? That's why we don't have any Beyoncés, right? Or anybody to compete with Beyonce. Because people who can't sing, who can't even do a 4 count, not even an 8 count, are giving Grammys. The bar has been lowered. And we need to put that bar back up. Because those people were never supposed to have a platform. And when we get back in alignment, we got it. But I am excited to see all of those voices, all of those people who push back and what they create. I'm excited to, oh God, will disco come back? Oh, I missed that season. Ah, bring back disco. Sierra said, and that's why you can't take out your vengeance on people. It will usually backfire. Listen, I'll let the Lord and my ancestors fight for me, child. Lisa said, the grace you build for others will hold you. Will hold you too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I thought you said grace. Grave. Yikes. The grave you build for others will also hold you. Whew, that's a word. Eltavita said, also, have y'all seen child? This is what I'm talking about. She keeps on booking events because somebody told her that she could sing. This is why we're here. Eltavita said, also, have y'all, oh, we got that one. Blue Jay said, didn't watch the movie, but I somewhat deep dive into the Holocaust, but maybe I was a little too hopeful. Listen, I'm telling you right now, that movie is something else. The Internet Age said, white people don't have community like that without economics attached. Well, this is the thing. And we talked about this before. The white community had to abandon their individual identity to form with this power structure. So to be white is to be removed from identity. right? Their identity is colonization. Their identity is bloodshed and crushing marginalized communities when you align with that identity. And we've already talked about it. The ones who keep their identity have the hardest time within that community. I feel like if Jewish people abandoned being Jewish, they would be fine. They would absolutely be fine. But because they keep that identity, right? Their identity, they keep their identity, they keep their ways, they keep their laws. They just opt in to whiteness. They are treated that way because they are still going against the grain of whiteness. And what whiteness is, that you can't have an identity outside of whiteness, right? That's why you have Irish and Italian people. Yes, they were able to opt into whiteness in the 50s, but they will still never reach certain heights because they continue to keep this identity. Now you'll bring up somebody, oh, O'Connor this and O'Connor that. Listen, had it not been for their last name, you would have never known they were Irish. You cannot keep a separate identity outside of whiteness and expect to climb that ladder easily. The majority of impoverished whites, Irish and Italian. Mellow Vibes, what's up? Child. I saw the trailer for that. I'm good. Nope. Schindler's List was it for me. That is literally the only Holocaust movie I will ever watch. I got it. I got the point. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. Mellow Bob said, had to watch a lot of crazy movies. Schindler's List, The Scarlet Letter, some movie about a black boy running from the police because he was stealing and then he hit his head and get... What? Oh, Lord. Pinky from the 50s. Oh, is that the... I forgot that, but that's the girl who had a black mom. I forgot that movie. Josie said, history class was traumatic for me once Black History Month came around because they would be showing all the, of course. As a negro. Traumatized. Never. And they threw her them chicken wings. Never. And I'm telling you, the scenes where and it was always a black woman who would be like, Cameron said, I've never seen Schindler's List, but they made us watch Saving Private Ryan in the 11th grade. You know, America and their war propaganda. Ciao. Jennifer said, be clear if you're not at a job and your coworker showed you inappropriate sexual pictures, videos, that is sexual harassment. Kenny was dead wrong. Her castmates are her coworkers. She deserved to be fired. Gotta give it to you there. So Steph is here, so now we can start. Hey, so Steph. L Boogie said, I all got Liberace on crack. I'm going to start hoarding glitter now. Listen, be bold, be bright. That's how you fight. I think he's shorter than that. When he was that little comedian or that little host from Fear Factor, great guy. As soon as he started talking about politics and just anything in general, fool. Ronnie J said, Fear Factor Joe Rogan, mind you, the man that was a lug nut on news radio. That's who people are listening to. Yep. Miss Brown Sugar said, okay, but she has access to the video evidence. Like Candiace said, if Ashley don't have nothing else, she has a confidence. Audacity. Child, I tried. The funniest thing, these conversations always come up with Housewives. Always. Never. I saw the trailer. I said, no, I'm good. I've never watched that. L Boogie said, from the 50s, Pinky's had the movie Up North was passing, but Black Mom got sick, so she came back home. Oh, the title is Pinky. There is another movie where the girl was passing and her mom is black. And I never was able to see it, but I always remember a clip. And her mom died, her black mom died. And I think she like went home to see her black mom. And they told her that her mom died. And she was like, Mama! They had so many movies about mulattoes biracials being stressed out. Mama! Like, oh my God, is it that hard? I'm so sorry. It was such a good show. Such imitation of life. Thank you. Yeah, mama. The biracials be going through it. Biracials be going through it. Oh, there's a color version. Okay. Jennifer said, "Child, I was commenting and they didn't even say hi. Hi, NikkiNicoleStar fam. I'm a bit behind on the chat. No, you're fine. We're actually about to get into the review." Coos Girly said, "Why am I only now learning that joke?" Yes. Can you believe it? This is who Gen Z is listening to guide them. Crazy time. Crazy time. El Boogie said that movie is imitation of life. There are two versions, one from the 30s and one from the 50s. Oddly enough, the one from the 30s has more dignified Black characters. Oh, yes. I remember he was doing UFC. I remember that. Megan said we had to watch Diary. We had to read the book. Can you imagine? We don't know anything about this child named Anne. We don't know that she's dying at the end. When we got to the end of the book, oh, we were devastated. Trump children crying, she dead. Why would they do that to us? Like we were already Black in the 90s. Oh my gosh, traumatized. When I realized, I said, so what happened? I told my teacher, I said, so what happened after? Where is she today? And my teacher was like, well, Nikki, well, what? Bring me Anne Frank. But these kids they can't even write in cursive. Somebody said that the Gen Z didn't learn how to write in cursive, so they can't read about the past. Child, are we the last ones? Like, we're it, guys. The millennials, we're it. We're the last history book in this nation. Oh gosh. Did not watch the movie, read that book. That last chapter, why would they make children read that? And my teacher started it off, well, this is somebody who is just around your age. So we're reading about her having a crush, and then all of a sudden she has to start being hidden by her neighbors and she can't speak and she's living in an attic. And I'm like, what's going on? Also, being a Black kid and being absolutely gagged that white people did this to other white people, we were like, is nobody safe? Oh my God. We were like, they did this to other whites? Confusing. A confusing time. They just print it. They don't know cursive. Gen Alpha either. They don't know cursive. We're it. Guys, we're it. I'm telling you. We are it. We're the last of the last. Yes. So they won't be able to read it. It'll be like hieroglyphics to them. Any old document. Yeah, they won't be able to read it. They're going to have to roll out an elder millennial and be like, Papa, can you read this? Like, now I'm actually about to get into it. Don't worry. That one, now that was a tense one. That yikes. Them kids ain't reading that. They don't even read. They can't read. They don't know how to write a paper. Everybody's using Chat GPT. This is like they're dumbing down the kids. They're never going to let us die. They're going to be putting millennials in cryo takes because they don't know anything. They do not know anything. I'm not a homeschooler. It's not my thing. I like to be with your kids all day and then have to teach them as well. That would be too much for me. But I feel like at some point, y'all got to start homeschooling y'all kids because the schools are making an effort to make them idiots so you can fall in line. Elbig said millennials are going to be like some old. Yes, we are in Oracle. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, perfect. That's what you have to do. Caroline said, when we went to Germany one summer, when I was in elementary school, my parents took us on a tour that went to a concentration camp. And they went, child. Listen, train up a child. Cameron said, they made us read the Diary of Anne Frank in the 9th grade. And after we were done, it was a long line outside of the camp. Yes, we were traumatized. Yeah, they're not reading that. They're not reading that. Love like you are said, hold on. Early Gen Z, learn cursive. I'm not talking about the elders. I'm not talking about the elderly. I'm talking about your old behind. Rashonda said, it's best to learn young because by the time you're an adult, it's harder for you. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, guys, come on, Star Family. We have to make me very wealthy. I'm bringing back PBS. Oh, PBS? Will be privately funded by me. Oh my goodness. Those kids are not, unless you're from New Orleans, they have no idea about Hurricane Katrina. No idea. We're going to have to. We got to do it more. Yes. It was like a concentration camp season for us. We were learning about everything. They're erasing all of that from history books. They don't learn it. They were just trying to erase Harriet Tubman from the historical website of what was it? Parks and Recs, I think. And it was like this whole segment of Harriet Tubman and how she used the parks to form the Underground Railroad. And they removed her and said white people did it. And because of outrage, they put it back. These kids are going to be dumb. Parents, clock in. Alana said they tried to make us watch Shameless in high school. The principal, yeah. Listen, I can understand that. I'm an adult. I watched that once. Never again. El Boogie said, you got to take a 2-week journey to meet Miss Nikki. Child, you really do. Butterfly in the sky. I wanted to be one of those kids so bad. Lisa, I want to get 3 more and then we're going to start. Lisa said, I saw some teachers are horrified that kids can't cross the midline, touch right hand to left knee. Apparently you have to do that to read. Oh my goodness. Listen, all them teachers on TikTok, they're just like, hey, guys, don't be mad at us. Your kids can't read. The kids are dumb. And that is you need dumb people to control them. Hey, Unapologetic Romel, how are you? And they're trying to make us immigrants. They're already doing it in Texas. Hooked on phonics works for me. It did. All of those things worked and they just got rid of it. Now, all Gen Z is probably going to die from lung cancer because everybody vapes. Like they don't have dare. They don't have nothing. Yep. They're trying to get rid of the first 4 of the African. Yep. Absolutely. Y'all are going to have to homeschool them babies. Homeschool. Yes, you're fine. Some people say kids being on the iPad all day and not coloring is affecting their motor skills. They can barely hold a pencil, but they can work the hell out of an iPhone. My God. Between the Lions. Works for me. That was such a good time. Yes, Miss Beacon. Yes. We're going to end with Unapologetic Romel. Unapologetic Romel said, I'm doing good. I honestly pray every day because Trump, the devil, and their minions are going crazy. We will be okay. But get your money up. So if you have to flee. LSS, I do want to end with this. LSS said, please donate to the African American History Museum. Absolutely. Do it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Oh no, not this one. My phone is dying. Oh shoot. I'm having such a good time chatting with y'all. I'm supposed to load something. Hold on. Let me send this to my computer. Airdrop. Nikki's MacBook Pro. All right, so I'll upload that when I get to that point to talk about it. Let me put this right here. I think it's in the right format. Anyway, oh my God, I've been talking to you guys for an hour and I'm just getting into the review. You know what? Maybe not now, but maybe closer to May. I'm just going to start doing weekly check. I said this before, but I was just like, no, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm just going to start doing weekly check-in lives so we could just talk about everything, and then the live chats could just be about the show we're talking about. My God, today we might just do that. You guys have to come to those lives with subjects to talk about. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do weekly check-ins. We need them, apparently. So anyway, Schindler's List. How do we get here? Anyway, so apparently the bank was absolutely upset with how the ladies handled themselves at their when Miss Oakley hosted her event, because she said that the owner of the bank was upset with how they handled themselves, and Britt talked about shooting people and all that stuff, and that it wasn't a good look. And I will say this, I believe it, right? Because like I said before, the bank is a place that I would love to go to, but I'm not going there as an outsider, as no city slicker. I'm going there with somebody who actually lives there and is from that area, because I've driven by a few times, and to me, that does not look like a place that you just go to for a tourist attraction. You got to go there to know somebody. So to be outside in that environment and talk about you going to shoot somebody, I would be a little pissed off too, because, you know, my establishment is already a little hot and you come in here with your mess. And it's so funny that they all were acting like the bank wasn't like, oh, we're going to Bankhead. Oh, we're going to this area, and y'all about to fight and talk about shooting people. Y'all were in the right establishment. Well, apparently not. Apparently not. Because he or she, the owner, they were not happy with how the Real Housewives of Atlanta soiled their restaurant, and they let Miss Oakley know. So I think Britt had a talking to by production, because she was so apologetic. How do you go from, like, let's be honest here, Kenya was wrong. Britt did too much. Britt did too much. There was nothing that Kenya did to make her get to the point from what we saw, right? She was mad aggressive, taking this stuff off. Her husband had to come in. He obviously was there, but he wasn't being filmed. He had to come in and calm her down. She's talking about getting weapons to beat this woman up. And I'm like, well, what transpired to get you there? She was absolutely doing too much. But I also think production and maybe the cast said something, because the way Britt was on this episode compared to the last time we saw her, night and day. Voice changed and everything. I'm so sorry. I that's not who I am. Please forgive me. I'm gonna talk to Kenya. I'm like, who is this? Weren't you about to pistol whip that lady? Like, what happened? So I do think that something was said, or maybe Kenya was just like, yeah, I'm not going to film with this girl that's talking about shooting me. Understandable. Completely understandable. But Britt was just very apologetic. Even when she met with Porsha, she was just like, yeah, I couldn't. Porsha was like, oh, you was on one. And I'm just like, if Miss Violence, Miss History of Violence, Porsha is telling you you've done too much, I would listen to her. I would, because Porsha loves tussle. Okay, she loves stuff. She loves beating up on all her lovers. Porsha loves beating up on her lovers. Like, she don't. Child, Simon, tell your story. Anyway, so Britt had to sit down with Porsha, and Porsha's just like, yeah, you did too much. You did too much. So it just made me think that production told them, you know, maybe Can You Call Production was just like, that went a little too far. And then production spoke to Britt and was like, yeah, you got to fix that, because we have a zero violence policy, which they do. So maybe that is why this sit down with Porsha was basically a way for Britt to just show that, you know, what she did was wrong, and, you know, be very repentant. However, I'm like, why would y'all have Britt sit down with Porsha? The most violent person on this show. Like, that made no sense to me. But Britt was very apologetic. Let's get into Miss Oakley. She was opening up a bit this episode. She was doing a scene with her daughter, and like, it seems like I felt like she was poked and prodded by production to talk more about her life. And she was talking about her life that involved other people who did not want to be necessarily discussed. Because there's a scene with her and her daughter, and she's trying to get things out of her child, and her child doesn't want to talk about it, right? Her child doesn't want to talk about how she went off and got married because it seems like there's something else connected to that. And she doesn't want to embarrass her mom. But I don't think Miss Oakley picked that up because she kept on trying to do it. And her daughter just starts breaking down and crying. She said, I don't want to have this conversation because me and you are on two different pages concerning that. And then there became a conversation about her mom and the house. I will say she tells us her business, but the way she tells the story, she lets us know she's leaving a lot out. Because she says, well, I bought my mom a house, my sister is in there, and my daughter lives there. And then when she was talking to Charles, when he was frying chicken with his bare hands, I said, oh, he learned how to make fried chicken from the ancestors. Because the way he was frying that chicken, I said, oh, this got roots in it. Anyway, the way she talks about the issues with him and her family is holes, like something that he don't like the family. And she's trying to defend both sides, but not telling us why they don't like each other, because they're not talking to each other, not based off of cleaning. It's something your mama said, it's something your sister said, and I think it got something to do with what your husband did and what was the fruit that came out of his actions. But she doesn't want to tell us that. So she just says, Charles and my family, they just they just don't get along. Girl, what happened? Like, if you're going to tell us. But if you're not going to tell us, then don't say anything. Because it just doesn't make sense. Because every time she speaks about the situation with Charles and her family, I'm always like, what is, it's something still, it's something that she's leaving out. And I'm just like, I would not have this frustration if you just wouldn't have said anything in the first place. Anyway, she's also talking to her daughter because her daughter is living in the house with her mom and her sister, and the daughter and the mom are not speaking, but the daughter is living in the house because Angela pays for everything, right? So that she says, I bought my mom a house and my daughter lives there. But your daughter and your sister are not talking to your mom. So this is what, or not talking to your daughter. So this is the thing. I think Angela brought her mom a home. The mom moved in her sister. Angela said, I bought this house, although I bought it for somebody else. I bought this house, my daughter's going to live there. I think that's the issue. It's like if you give somebody a gift or if you're doing something, do it and let them handle it how they want to. I think she's not letting her mom or, the sister or whatever run the house the way they run a house. And I think they probably feel like the daughter is a spy for Miss Oakley. But here's the thing with her family. If y'all want independence from Angela and y'all want to be able to run that house the way y'all want to run it, then she needs to stop paying for everything. Because the way she's leading on, it's like she's still paying for everything. She paid for the house, and it seems like she's paying for the bills and for your way of living. Even Charles said that. He said that he wants y'all out of his pocket. So something is happening because comments are being made, but the story that's being told don't match up to what's being said or the reality of your situation. So something is up. So her daughter is not talking to her mom because she took the car that Angela got her mom. Her daughter took the car and didn't tell the mom. And the daughter is just like, well, you're not doing anything with the car. I can take it. Now I will say this. Again, y'all put me in your business. It seems like the daughter is doing a little too much. It's giving a little too grown, a little misgrowning, right? That's what it's given. Because to say that you took your grandmother's car because she wasn't doing anything with it or it wasn't a big deal. What kind of relationship you got? You can just take your grandmother's car and like she can't say anything. Like it was just something. This is the thing. Tell me the whole story. Don't give me bits and pieces. Something is a little bit off. And you're a married woman and you don't have a car? What is the husband doing? What's happening, Miss Oakley? You're telling me the story, but you're leaving stuff out. What is going on? I'm confused. I'm confused. Tell me the whole story, please, because it's not making sense. And tell Charles to share that fried chicken recipe. And after he shares it, let that man go on about his business because he does not want to film. He don't like being on this show. He don't like being on a show, and he's very comfortable being violent, especially towards women. Because when you talk to him about Porsha and the things that she said, because Miss Oakley goes, Charles, you know Porsha, she said to me that she got some tea on you, Charles. Charles, she got some tea on you. And Charles was like, well, she don't got no tea on me. And if she wants some tea on me, ask her to Google me and see what happens to people who play with me. Okay, so you want Porsha to Google you and see what comes up. So what comes up is assault. So what are you saying? Right? Wasn't that a little weird to y'all? Because it was weird to me. I'm like, if you're telling her to Google you, assault comes up, and you're saying that's what happened to people who play. Are you talking about beating up Porsha? Like, what? Tell that man to stop filming, Miss Oakley. I feel like if you keep that man on the show, you're going to be in a different position next season. And maybe that's why you're here. Who knows? Who knows? But it's very weird. Stop filming with him. It's weird. Y'all have a very weird dynamic. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. That's really all I have to say about those other scenes. Let's get into girl. Let's get into this launch. So, we are now that so after we get the little flutter scenes, we get the real meat and potatoes. And now the rest of the show is about Kenya Moore hair care and the launch of her salon, which was a big feat for this woman. We've talked about it in the chat. She was really, this was her time because the show did not focus on her building it. So it was her time to shine, right? She is opening up her salon. This is her blood, sweat, and tears. And this is something for her and her daughter, right? It's a really big deal. It's mess from the beginning. I will say, when we get there, it's beautiful. There's press out there. There's the Atlanta elite. Kenya looks great. We see her earlier in the episode hiring hair models for the show. She was really invested, and it looked like it was going to be really successful. And it looks successful, right? Everybody's there waiting to go in. We got the Kenya Moore hair care chant. She walks in, she's talking to press. She looks amazing. And we're in there, and it's like, oh, wow, Kenya, you really, really did it. It's 2-story. It's nice. It's cute, right? All of a sudden, the show starts focusing on Drew, right? Drew, who let me just say this. I don't think she's doing anything wrong, right? I think that Porsha already knew that she was working with Dennis. Even Porsha admitted that. Porsha's problem is that she does not want Dennis to have airtime on the show. She don't want her baby daddy to have airtime on the show, especially since they have a tense relationship. And I understand that, right? I also understand her being upset that somebody who she considered a friend is putting her baby father, who she has a tense relationship with, on the show. Here's the thing. You, Porsha, have Dennis on the show because he is your baby daddy and y'all share a child and y'all are filming, right? Drew is, her storyline this season is focusing on her music. Dennis is footing the bill for that. So he is going to have to be filmed. Now, you can't say you're fine with them working together, but they cannot film. If she's on a show where her life is being filmed, they're absolutely going to have to film Dennis. Like, you are mad at the wrong person. You need to be mad at Dennis, because if he doesn't want to film, the show won't film him. But he's always available. He's always available to film. So you need to take that up with Dennis. I think you don't want to take it up with Dennis, one, because you share a child and you have a tense relationship. But I also think that now that you're on the market, you want to open that door back up, because if it were up to you, you would have never been with Simon in the first place. You always wanted to be with Dennis. So because he is now choosing to not just work with their friend, he's choosing to also film with her, you're starting to feel some sort of way. And women have to be honest about this. You get a little jealous, right? Even a man that you don't want, you get a little jealous when he starts paying attention to somebody else. So there's obvious jealousy there, and you have to deal with that, because I don't think Drew did anything wrong. I don't think she did anything wrong by working with Dennis, especially when she asked you for permission first. Now, Drew, where you did go wrong is how you spoke to this woman. You would hurt it and leave off in a good place. So why are you approaching her being very condescending? Oh, well, I tried to talk to you, and I told you at my birthday party. Remember? Well, ladies, I tried to say something, and look how she's acting. I would have bopped you in your forehead. Like, why are you acting like that? You are not coming to her trying to make peace by speaking that way to her. Even Porsha caught it. She was just like, what is this? Like, me and you ain't in a good space, and then you're approaching me in front of everyone at our friend's event and saying, oh, I'm trying to clear the air. I'm trying to work on our relationship. Well, look how you're acting. Oh, really? But you knew. So you're not trying to fix anything. Like, Drew, no, honey, we got to be honest. You were not trying to fix. You were being messy. You were being messy speaking to that woman that way. You already know how Porsha is, so why even approach her, especially if you're at a time of war? If you're at a time of war, like, you were not trying to fix anything. You were being so condescending. I would have had a problem with you too. So absolutely not. So while Porsha and Drew are going at it, Britt comes in. You know, we see Britt and Waffles. They are on their way into the event. And Britt is very apologetic. She's like, I know I was wrong. I have to fix it. I got her flowers. I wrote her a card. I want her to know that I'm sorry. Listen, even if she didn't mean it, she was making an effort. She realized she was wrong and she was making an effort. So, you know, she was still coming. And Kenya, you never rescinded her invite. And honestly, sis, I think you didn't rescind her invite because you wanted to humiliate her at your event. How terrible. So Waffles and Britt walk, and Kenya sees her and she doesn't acknowledge her at all. Britt is walking around trying to give her these flowers, trying to give her the card, telling her that she's sorry. Kenya's acting like she doesn't see her. Now, up until that, Kenya was an amazing host. She was an amazing host, and it was just like her moment. She was doing so great until Britt walked in. Because when Britt walked in, she knew that it was showtime, because she had prepared a moment. And this moment was not about Kenya. It was not about her daughter. It was about Britt. I don't know why a seasoned vet would make the grand opening of her salon about a newbie who we're only 5 episodes in. I don't understand what was going on in her mind at this moment. So Kenya takes this moment, the grand opening of her salon, with press there, all of Atlanta's elite. And while Bravo is giving her this 10-minute commercial for her salon, she decides to soil it. And how she soils it is when Britt comes in, and Britt's chasing her with the card, card in the vase and the flowers, trying to apologize to her. Kenya goes, everybody gather around. I have an announcement. Thank God Britt left. Thank God Britt left. Britt was just like, you know what? I apologize to her. I gave her the card. I hope she reads it. I will say, as somebody who received her apology, who gave her an apology and it was rejected, she handled it great. That's how you should handle the rejection of an apology. Because just because you apologize does not mean that the person that you harmed has to receive it. So you need to be like Britt you need to be thankful that they received the apology and they give that to you. If they don't want to receive it, you got to go with the flow. So anyway, she's just like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to leave. She says goodbye to everybody. She's just like, I'm going to leave. You know, I hope she reads the card, but, you know, I'm going to leave. And I would have as well, because Kenya was like humiliating her. She's walking around trying to apologize to this woman, and she's just like not acknowledging her. Like Britt walks in with Waffles. She acknowledges Waffles. She doesn't acknowledge Britt. It's me, like it, and it's not just in front of the cast. It's in front of like these other people she does not know that are here to support Kenya. I would have left too. So thank God Britt leaves. Kenya gathers everybody around. She after she gives the vase to her security to throw out from Britt, she's like, I don't want that from that girl. Waffles goes and gets the card. She's just like, oh, she runs after security. She's like, I just want to give her the card, because she wrote some kind words. I want you to read the card. And Kenya says, no, throw that card out as well. And she looks at Waffles and she says, don't get involved. You should have let her. You should have let her. So she says, gather around, everyone. Gather around, everyone. And she starts to give this speech. And she's like, I worked really, really hard. And, as a single mom, it's just so hard. And I have been building this for so long. And I wanted to do this for myself and for my daughter. But what's so hard about this is that as a woman and you're building, there's always somebody there to try to take you down. And there's somebody who I didn't know. I didn't know anything about this person, but they're trying to take me down. The guests are like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, she totally changed her aura. The speech just went way left. And she's just like, so there's somebody trying to take me down. And I decided to research this person. And I got a private investigator. You spent money on embarrassing Britt? Sad. And she goes, and my private investigator, they gave me this information. And I want to show you all who this person really is. So she holds up these poster boards that it looked like she got fresh from Michael's and had her assistant paint these pictures. Whoever, I'm telling you, if it wasn't Kenya who put them pictures up there, you're liable as well. You're liable as well. So anyway, she posts these pictures of Britt. I think one was a mugshot or whatever. And she's like sharing them and showing everybody these pictures. She's just like, my private investigator, they did this. They did the investigation, and this is who this person is. And everybody's like, oh. So I realized their pictures aren't that bad, but they're blurred. So the show is not showing these pictures. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, they're not that bad. And she's just like, oh, I have more of who this person really is. She gets this poster board. She pulls it up. Everybody goes, so I knew from the dramatic gasp from that audience that it was awful. Awful. And then you hear, I think it was Waffles. No, I think it was Cynthia who was just like, oh, I'm not going to sit here and look at no pictures of nobody sucking little dick. And let me tell you something, Waffles. You stood 10 toes down for your friend. Now, she knew that Britt was wrong. So she didn't come in here trying to protect Britt from, the lashings that she should have gotten for threatening Kenya, right? So, Waffles like, she's not right. She shouldn't have done that. She's trying to do this like Valley Girl thing, child. So she's not right. She should have been, but she was trying to help aid in the reconciliation or, the apology, right? So she gets the card, she's trying to do some things. Kenya scolds her. She don't take it as an insult. She just realized Kenya is having a moment, right? But when Kenya pulled that, before Kenya even pulled the poster board up, the first poster board, she was just like, oh, I don't like this. This is my friend. Like, this isn't right. Kenya pulled that second poster board up. She said, oh, I'm getting out of here. She said, oh, I'm done. I'm leaving. And whatever crew she brought left right out with her. And she said, I'm leaving with somebody who has some class and integrity. Thank God she didn't tell Britt. Thank God she didn't tell Britt what was going on in there. But when Waffles leaves, all of a sudden, the day players and the extras start leaving. Like immediately when she pulled that poster board up, everybody was like, oh no, she went too far. And that's how I knew whatever Kenya showed was awful. Because when the extras, when they decide that the $60 an hour that they're getting for this show, and no, the $20 an hour that they're getting to be an extra on this show, oh, it's Atlanta. They're not getting paid. When they decide that this extra job ain't worth it, that's how you know. The extras left when she pulled that poster board up. And this Shamia was like, She gets all of her billions. She gets up and she gets out of there, and all the housewives they are Porsha was just like, she was so frustrated. She said, "Don't film me anymore." She's just like, I'm done. Take this mic off of me. Now, I didn't know you were doing all of this. Like, she was just like, we do a little something here, but this was wild. Like, she couldn't even get her thoughts together from what she had seen. And everybody just started clearing the salon out. And how I knew that Kenya wasn't coming back from this, Cynthia went over to her friend and she said, "I understand you're hurt. This isn't you, and you're better than this." Now, Kenya saw everybody leave, but when Cynthia came over to her and said that and left, she was just like, "No, that girl threatened me. No, 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 no." But you could see it in her face. She started to realize she had crossed the line. And I think in her mind, she started losing money because she realized this stunt that she pulled, there was no coming back from that. There was no coming back. So allegedly, what was shown on there is that Britt used to be, Britt used to do a little porn. Okay, Britt used to do a little something, right? And I guess Kenya took a clip from one of her performances and screenshotted that and posted Britt with a ding-a-ling in her mouth performing an act on a gentleman and showed that to everybody. Let's just talk about human decency. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why a woman, a business owner, a mother, a woman in her 50s would do something like this, period. But to do it at your job, crazy. And to have it filmed, crazy. Like, it just doesn't make sense, which is why I'm like, Kenya, you got to tell us something else. You have to tell us something else. What else happened? Who told you to do what happened? Because it just is, I feel like she's so much smarter than this. She couldn't come back from this, guys. She showed, first of all, before we even get into revenge porn, she showed porn, period, at her job to her coworkers. She's getting fired. I don't care where you work. Old Navy, your manager coming there showing you some porn, they're fired. Like, you can't do that. So I'm just like, I don't know how she thought she was coming back from that when she was, gluing that picture on that poster board. Nothing crossed her mind. When you took a screenshot or had your assistant take a screenshot and blow it up, what Staples allowed her to print that out? That's crazy. What Kinko's? Was it UPS? Because they get messy over there. Like, who allowed you to even print that out? You better hope Staples doesn't have that saved in their history. My God, today. I just don't understand. This is so crazy. So she showed porn at work, first offense. Then she showed revenge porn because Britt didn't consent to this, and you showed the porn to harm her. Revenge, which is a felony in Georgia. It's a felony. How did you think you were keeping your job? How did you think you were keeping your job? You are lucky that girl did not press charges. You are lucky that girl did not sue. You cannot be mad at anybody else, mother, but you. That was crazy. That does not make any sense, especially for you, of all people, Kenya. You've been in this industry longer than the people who you have been on Housewives with. You are the most seasoned entertainment industry person. I cannot believe that you would make such a fumble. This was a huge mistake. Then, as a woman, as a Black woman, to embarrass another Black woman like that. What did you think was going to happen? You thought that everybody was going to laugh? You thought that everybody was going to go out there and show Britt those pictures? What did you think was going to happen? And we don't know what state of mind that woman was in or what situation she was in that made her even do something like that. I get you did not like her bucking up on you. She was absolutely wrong. But this was not just a get back. You wanted to annihilate this woman. And we're going to watch for the rest of the season this woman talk about how you have traumatized her. And she has every right. And she is going to build a fan following in a season that you were able to accumulate in a decade because of your foolishness. All you did was send your enemy into greatness faster than they would have got there on their own. It doesn't make any sense. It's so diabolical that this is what you did. It's crazy. Britt made you commit a felony? And to not be remorseful? Child, let's talk about it. So Messy Andy was on his podcast and he was talking about, what Kenya did and being so outraged by it. Child, you're not outraged at Lisa Rinna breaking off a glass and threatening to cut Kim Richards' jugular. Anyway, so he's talking about it, and then a caller comes in and it's just like, I can't believe that Kenya would do such a thing. Shut up. Even though I agree. Anyway, so I'm going to play that video for you guys right now. I think, who did I get it from? I think wherever I got it from, their name should be on here and you guys should see it. But let me bring that up now. She has no...
That Britt made a comment at the end of last week's episode, like, I have a gun and a whip or something like that.
I saw that.
And on this week's episode, they all said to Britt that you can't say that shit. And she was like, yeah, you're right. Whatever. She shows up to Kenya's opening of her gorgeous salon, which is beautiful, that Kenya has worked so hard on, that she dedicated to her daughter. And it's this big event, opening it with all these people there. And Britt comes in and brings her flowers and says, I want to apologize to you, and a note. And Kenya totally ignores her, like totally. And Britt's like, okay, I'm just going to leave these here. And Britt leaves. And then Kenya gets up and makes her whole opening about someone came after me and they shouldn't have. And I started looking into who this woman is, and this is who she is. And she started showing pictures of her.
With like poster board that she printed
out. And this is like
one of the pictures is
revenge
her.
Porn type.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the pictures is her
like, oral sexing.
Yeah. And so, and the Atlanta Housewives are like, we're out. We don't want any, the place like clears out.
Yeah.
And then there's and Cynthia said, in all my time at the show, this is the lowest I've ever seen anything get. And, so that's what, and then there's a slide at the end of the show that says, Bravo, stop filming with Kenya after this.
Well, they say like, there's all this talk of, after the Me Too movement, it's like, if you show someone a dick pic or a nude pic without them saying, yes, I would like to see that right now, that's like sexual assault.
Yes, Jordan?
Well, I was going to say, the bad part of it and the sad part of it was that, like you said, it was Kenya's opening of her store that she's worked so hard for, and that it's been Kenya Moore hair care for years. Yes. And it was like a big moment for her.
Why
and
did she do that?
She should have been celebrating herself, but instead she used the time to like do revenge porn and bring somebody else down. And at the end of the day, it was such a bad look for Kenya.
Yeah, why would she do that?
And she sabotaged herself and her business.
Yeah. What was she thinking?
Jody from Minneapolis, what did you think?
So Jody from Minneapolis just parroted what they said, and she was just very disappointed in what Kenya did. But if you couldn't read it there, I want to read to you what Kenya said. She replied in the comments of that video, and she said, the two co-hosts are extremely ignorant. Sexual assault is great. Oh, how you this old child? Remember, that's what Phaedra accused Candy of attempting to do to Porsha. Revenge porn. If someone showed Kim K's sex tape to you, is that revenge porn? I found that plus tons. I found that plus tons other online. Why are you looking for Kim Kardashian sex tape? Anyway, um, she signed a release for it, so it's fair. Receipt. Warning. If you're not an attorney and familiar with Georgia law, then shut the F up. Sick of the bias and selective outrage. These comments should not have aired. It's a podcast. Where is legal? You don't want activated, Kenya. I shouldn't have shown those at my event, but for the love of God, why would they ignore a clear gun threat? No, 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 mama. No, 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 no. Sexual assault is not just rape. Like there, if you are minding your business and a man walks up to you and flashes you, a man that you do not know, a man who you did not ask to flash you, and he shows you his penis, that is considered sexual assault. Because although he is not physically harming you, he is harming you visually, right? He is traumatizing you. And that is his intent. So when you are showing clips of someone in a sexual act, and we did not ask you for that, and this person did not consent to it, it is considered sexual assault. You need to look up your own law of where you live, because what you did was a felony. What you did was a felony. You better thank God that you did it at your job and Bravo got a lot of money, because that's the only way this hasn't found you. Because they have the money to protect themselves, because if anything happens, they are also liable for allowing that. That's why they're taking the stance as hard as they're taking, because you did this on their platform. You just sound so dumb. Like, oh my God. And then to bring up Kim Kardashian's sex tape, what does that have to do with Brit? Yes, Brit signed off on, that porn video or whatever she did. She signed off on that to be shown. Absolutely. She did not sign off on that for you to take pictures of her and share her performing something at an event where you did not ask anybody permission if they wanted to see that, and you did not ask Brit permission if you could show that. Wait, how do you not know this? Damn near 60. How do you not know? Well, we don't even get into the damn near 60. 50. You are a woman in your 50s. How do you not know this? You are a mother to a daughter. Why would you want to even do that? Why would that even cross your mind? And why would you want to use a clip of a woman performing a sexual act to shame her? It's just, guys, it's so weird. It's so diabolical. Like, I knew it was bad for them to not film with her. I didn't know it was this. And for her to still to have this stance, that this is a double standard, this selective outrage, I don't think that people are angry enough. There are people still defending you. Probably somebody defending you in the chat. Ay, 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 mama. Ay, ay, ay. So next episode and the remaining episodes, we are just going to see the fallout from that. And then we're going to see Phaedra's return. My God, today. Getting rid of Kenya and bringing back Phaedra. Child, I hope Phaedra learned her lesson and don't pull no stunts like Kenya or Phaedra, how she did back in the day. Please be on your best behavior. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this show. What do you guys have to say? We have a lot of comments, and I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. Let's go. Eva Empathy said, I just don't see how Kenya could be like, this is for my daughter. By the way, who is this? It didn't make sense. Guys, when she mentioned Brooklyn, she was crying. And then she goes, I had to do this for me and my daughter. But then there are people who are trying to take me down. What? And she practiced that speech. You know she worked with some yes man or woman, probably some Gen Z kid trying to keep their job, telling her that this is the right thing to do. You need to run everything by the wisdom in your life. Who are the smart people? Run it by your mother. Run it by, oh, you're beefing with your aunt. Oh, not your mother. I apologize. I meant your aunt, but you're beefing with her, right? What about your cousin? You need to run that stuff. This is, I am so just disappointed. Ms. Brown Sugar said, that's a new perspective. Angela's daughter, she reads as Gen Z who is easily frustrated, talking through conflict, but maybe she was just trying not to embarrass her mom. Yeah, she didn't want to have that conversation. She did not want to have that conversation. Ms. Brown Sugar said, well, we never got our education only from school to spot our former conversation. My parents gave us extra assignments and made everything a lesson, plus church. Yeah. Plus church, Sunday school, Black history, oratory. We got to plant and sow. Absolutely. But the kids ain't reading and they ain't going to church. We're cooked. So Steph said Britt came in on the humble with no makeup. You know, when housewives mess up, they always do the no makeup to be like, this is me, raw. I want to show you my true self. They always do that. Mama Star said Kenya said something that pissed Britt off. They edited that part out. Maybe Kenya said something about her prior lifestyle before the show. Yeah, listen, I would love to know that. Britt, this is your time to shine, mama. This is your time to shine. Love Like You Are said, I think Britt wanted to get ahead of the Kenya hazing the newbies reputation, so she threw stones first before Ken did. She did. She absolutely made that decision to like try to punk Kenya back. But it was like you came in too strong because she wasn't even at her best. What did I say? That lady leaves everything out. That's why you're crying. Okay, let's tell the whole story. Yeah, it's always something missing. It's always something missing. She breadcrumbs the truth. Perfect, so Steph. Perfect. Gifty Abaka said the productions are on Britt's side. If Kenya said something to her, they would not have edited that out. That's true. I don't think they're on Kenya's side. I just feel like they just couldn't defend that because now she's put them in a position where they're liable. They are liable. She don't want to tell us that. That's what it's given. Love Like You. Ephraim said, looks like Charles be cooking up a storm. He's a chef. He gives us such strong old man vibes. LOL. He makes me laugh, but I do side eye how he talks to Angela a bit. He's kind of dismissive, and I don't like that. Same. Mama Star says Miss Oakley is very careful about the information that she lets us in on. She doesn't want to open Pandora's box. Then I would never go on a reality TV show. So Steph said, I couldn't follow the drama about the daughter and her driving the car. It didn't make sense because they're not telling us everything, but trying to tell us something. Don't tell us anything at all. Is that Kimmy said, I was confused by the whole scene with Oakley and her daughter. Too many hoes. Absolutely. Mama Star said, Angela bought that house in case her and Charles don't make it so she could, smart. Miss Brown Sugar said, that's a new perspective. Oh, we got that one. Charles said, gonna have to be a part of the replay gang, but I have to admit this is hard to watch on Kenya's part. The energy of that scene felt very uncomfortable. Love Kenya, but two wrongs don't make it right. Absolutely. Ephraim said, the daughter comes off a little manipulative to me. This is too much. When Angela was only asking about the marriage and not doing too much with it was odd to me. Well, now that we know that the daughter is married to a woman, Angela's saying, well, why didn't you tell me? And I wasn't there and I didn't know that you didn't get married. Why didn't you know? You see? And the daughter probably running to protect her mom is not telling her mom why she wasn't invited to the wedding. Because if she were to say it's because you're homophobic, then it's a whole, you know what I mean? So girl. Oh, he's absolutely grumpy. Charles Oakley being grumpy playing ball, grumpy in retirement, grumpy to his wife. That's him. Always ready to knuck if you buck, even a woman. I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you say tell Porsha to Google me? It's hard to see what happens with people who play with me. Okay, sir. Okay. Like what? That was weird. Very, very weird. Unapologetically Romel says, in my opinion, Angela should have been a friend of, and they could have added someone else. She might have. I think she was a friend of. I think she was a friend of, and got bumped up to main cast because of Kenya's mess. And so they brought in Cynthia and they brought in Phaedra as friends of, because Cynthia and Phaedra are now the friends of. I think Angela and maybe Britt were friends of. And then that scene just changed everything. Everything. So Steph said Kenya took them shots and then acted a fool. If you got to take some shots to do something, maybe you should rethink. Absolutely. Even he said, I just don't get how Kenya could be like, this is from our daughter. Oh, we got that one. It's that Kimmy said Porsha played herself having a kid with that man she barely knew. Let that man live his life as long as your daughter is taken care of and safe. Child, speak. Mama Star said, I absolutely love Dennis. He knows how to play his part. Erica said, Dennis makes poor decisions, but seemed like a decent guy overall. I think he's finding in this ultimately making a coin for PJ. Me too. Miss Brunchiga said, it was a Greek tragedy in 4K. Kenya had everyone on her side, was having an incredible event, and couldn't shake the vindictive devil on her back that was leading her down the wrong road. It's so like, I just can't believe that she thought this through and still did it. Woo! XO Chrissy said, if Porsha isn't beefing with Drew, what is her storyline? If she's not low-key shading Shamia, what is her storyline? Detainee Gobadia ruined her return. Sure did. They do. It's not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, y'all fighting over Dennis. Pink Petal said, Drew just doesn't add anything to me. She's just there. I think she wanted this season to be her music and less about her divorce. But Porsha is blocking her coin. Cameron said, Drew was giving Porsha the same energy that Porsha was giving her, so I applaud Drew. I do, like, listen, if you're going to match energy, fine. But don't say that you're trying to make peace. She was not. Well, here's the thing. Britt showed up because she wanted to make it right with Kenya because she was wrong, because the whole cast was just like, yeah, that wasn't it. And of course, they're going to side with Kenya. She's an OG. And I think production probably let her know, yeah, you want to fix that, because Kenya is letting the network know you threatened to pull a gun out on her. Me too. She's a good time. Eva Empathy said, how is Kenya going to say she's paying Britt dust? And then she made that whole event about that girl. That's so crazy. Mom, let's be careful. Miss Melanie, Mama Star said, when Porsha was with Simon with the million, she was high on her horse. And now that Drew and Dennis are working together, Porsha is salty. My mom was a mess back in the day, y'all. Miss Veronica said all of that, and in the end, Kenya let a freshman take her spot. She literally did. Crazy. XO Chrissy said Kenya should have had Brett. Kenya should have had Brett kept it out, like talk it out, maybe like Sheree did to Nene and Kim in season 1. They would have shown Britt outside looking done with flowers. Oh, kept Britt outside. Yeah. They would have shown Britt looking done with flowers and Kenya inside hosting in scene. Kenya played herself. She sure did. Miss Franchica said, and all the old heads made sure Britt knew that Kenya wasn't going to be in that space of forgiveness yet. They did. They did. The N and the H said that's how Britt should have handled not getting a hug earlier. Yep. Unapologetically, Romel said Kenya was wrong, but I don't feel sad for Brittany. She is not sorry. She's calculated. I think she is, because nobody on the show knew that she did porn. Now everybody knows. Everybody's watching that video, sharing clips of it. I know if you're on Twitter, you didn't probably seen that video. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm not giving that white supremacist any more money. But I know people are probably sharing it. Now something that she thought was buried is brought back up. Something she probably regrets. That girl is traumatized. She's being re-traumatized again. Priscilla said Kenya's defense was that she felt physically threatened. If so, then why invite the threat to your opening? Talk about it. Sarah said Britt played her part and Kenya as a vet fumbled her own situation. Here is why you're eating, Sarah. Because Kenya was hazing the freshman, right? The freshman fought back and didn't like it and went too far. So she got humbled. Britt was humbled. The humbling you wanted to give her, she got it. Her following you around your salon, trying to apologize, you got it. You got it. So you did not need to do. I don't know why she did this. I don't know why she did it. It's such a stupid rookie mistake. I just don't understand how this woman who was so seasoned in the entertainment industry would do something like that. They were like, everybody was disgusted instantly. So it was a horrible clip. That picture was terrible. Everybody was immediately disgusted. They all got out of there. The day players left first. The extras, they were working for free. It said, I don't need this. Ciao. It was so poorly put together, which makes me think this was probably done at the last minute. That's why she probably didn't tell anybody about it. So sad. Oh my God. That would have been worse. That would have been worse. She wasn't even there. She wasn't even there. And Kenya was rushing to get everybody because I guess she knew that Britt was leaving. So she wanted to have this moment fumble. I hope so. But I will say on TikTok, I did see somebody posted a video of Britt introducing herself to one of her, corn videos. All that stuff is being brought up about that woman. Y'all don't know what state of mind or where she was at financially to make her do something like that. No woman just chooses porn unless you're OnlyFans. The OnlyFans girls is making some money and they're running the show. This wasn't that. This was like 13 years ago. So she was on some damn casting couch as a child. How old was she? It's very early. Maybe her brain was fully developed. Maybe it wasn't, but she was very young. And now all that is being brought up. None of us knew about this until Kenya brought it to the forefront. Why in the hell would you do that to another woman? It's just so evil. I just feel like the both of them, Britt and Kenya, overreacted. Nothing happened to make either of them do what they did. Oh, that was Cynthia who said that. It sounded like her. Thank you, Internet Age. Oh, she got out of there. She said, I'm out. She was a good friend. She was a good friend. Kaylee said, Wapples was a good friend for leaving. Too bad. They not friends now? Oh, gosh. Cameron said her private investigator was in the room. It's Ming Lee, who's actually going to be on Basketball Wives this season because her and Britt have been beefing for years. Ridiculous. Everybody in there could sue because this was sexual assault. They could sue Bravo, NBC, Kenya. Everybody can. So Bravo immediately had to get rid of the liability because to keep her on the show, crazy work. They could. There was no way they could keep that woman. No way. No, this ain't race. This ain't colorism. She messed up. There was no way they could keep her on that show. No way. She cleared that place out so quickly. And to see everybody leave and still be like, no, I did the right thing. That girl threatened me. No, y'all need to stay out of it. To still be there. to still not even apologetic. Oh, she was mad at everybody but herself. I'm like, what happened to get you here? Love Like You Are said, and Waffles is right to say, we've all been hoes at some point in our lives. Because if we go back in all the ladies' history, everybody participated in the whole activities, and that's fine. And she's right. She's right. That's how you like. You think these wealthy housewives were just found one day gardening, and their Boaz just walked up to them and was just like, "I'm going to make you a very wealthy woman. Come live with me and travel all across the board." No, they had to hold their way, especially if you're not pedigree. They had to hold their way into those spaces where those wealthy men are, and they had to perform better than the 304 to snag them men. That's why the men be looking at them crazy. Same thing happened with Ashley Darby and Gollum. He was looking at her like, you didn't. So now you done had these kids. Now you want to be a mom and angelic? Absolutely not. Give me a threesome with a dog, because that's what we used to do. That's how you got me. We was doing all kinds of stuff with animals, vegetation, other humans. And now you want to be Mother Mary? Absolutely not. I want the freak back. That's why she's not with Gollum. Because she had them kids and was just like, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. Well, mother, I don't want to do that stuff with the gerbil. And Michael was like, no, this is what we did. This is how you got me. You brought the gerbils to me. Now you don't want to do it. Absolutely not. Then I'm going to get somebody else. They hoeing for them rich men. Them rich men are freaked out. Y'all not going to give them no normal missionary unless it's a lavender. That's the only that's the only way I'll do it. If it's lavender, okay, let's go. She bumping Birkins. Let's go. Anything else? Keep them wealthy boys away from me. Give me something working class. Love Like You Are said, Porsha told that producer to keep that camera down and act like she was never at the salon. When Porsha broke the fourth wall, and she was like, I was not here. I got a brand to protect. She was disgusted. She was disgusted. She couldn't believe it was her friend. You know, they haven't talked since. She has not talked to Kenya since then. In her own world. In her own world. And Kenya gave her that platform. Saul and David, child. She gave her that platform. Not only did you give her your spot, you gave her a head start. She will never have to do half the work you did. And that's on you. That's on you. The internet said, I don't understand why Bravo didn't just scrap this whole thing. If it was a violation and everyone was offended, leave it on a cutting room floor, because it was leaked. Somebody there had leaked it. So, you know, you can't not show us what is the biggest thing of this season and why one of the greatest OGs of your franchise is no longer on the show. They had to show it. F. Titty said, Kenya's stunt was not only stupid, but late. It's 2025. Shaming someone for doing some sex work in this economy is delayed and tried, period. Lisa said, could the adult film company sue for their IP being used on Bravo? Feels wild to say, but someone owns that media, and I'm sure they weren't asked. They could if it was shown. The fact that it was blurred out, no. Kaylee said, do at your job and your own event is wild. Yeah, crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would she do? She has to be. She has to. She's not herself. It's crazy. Alana said she was just crying to Kelly about how she spent up all of Brooklyn's money, and for her to pull this pissed me off so bad. Like, all this work for what, girl? Like, every woman was disappointed. Like, this was your moment. And you made it Brit's moment. Crazy work. I'll never let an enemy get me like that. Never. Woo! Okay. Yeah, maybe that's it. because this just doesn't make sense. This just doesn't make sense. Was it that little skinny white girl with the bushy eyebrows? Was it her? Was she the one who had to print that out at Staples? I would have quit. I would have been like, Miss Moore, I can't do this. I cannot do this. Like, absolutely. Because no home computer did that. No home printer did that. Crazy work. Miss Brown Sugar said, I cannot conceive of how she had the time and energy to plan this and not a thought to how bad it would be for you. These broads don't realize they're at work. I would never screw up a Bravo check. Crazy work. They don't like money. They don't like money. Spency said, girl, the way this had me shook, like, why would you make your whole new business about your crazy? Crazy. They are absolutely victims. Absolutely. I'm telling you, I think that was the little skinny assistant. I think it was her. E-Reply said, now Kenya is crying and trying to blame Bravo for this whole damn thing. Didn't say Needy didn't do the right thing by threatening or suing the network. She doesn't have a case. She better not. Unless you got some tea, you can't. No way. Don't do it, sis. Do not do it. The end of the age said, I think she's printed those pictures out and glued them onto just foolish. Foolish. Miss Brown Sugar said, as I said earlier, NSFW was established for a reason. In what world could you subject your coworkers and unsuspecting audience to those images and not lose your job and your dignity? She's so lucky Brooklyn wasn't there. Oh, the way Mark would have ran with that. And you better hope nobody underage was there. Oh, now we're on the sex offenders list. This just is such a dumb thing to do. It's so dumb. All internet. You did that for Brooklyn? Yikes. Ciao. No, ma'am. Romel said, Kenya was wrong. I wouldn't have done that, but many have done worse and still on Bravo. Who has shown revenge porn? Romel, that's a felony, baby. That's a felony. I'm telling you, the fact that Kenya has not been charged, the fact that she has not been sued, she got off scot-free. The fact that she lost her job, scot-free. It could have been worse, guys. It could have been worse. At all. Especially as an OG. Yeah, we don't know, but I feel like at this point we would have. And I think because Britt wants to stay on this show, she's not going to do it. She's not going to make the waters murky for Bravo. CR said, but my thing is, why did production allow Kenya to go that far? Why air it for profit off of this show, off this miscalculation, and penalize Kenya for doing something they could have very easily intervened on? I don't think they knew. And if they knew, Kenya, tell us. Tell us. Don't go down alone. Tell us. If they knew, tell us. If they knew, tell us. This was bad on her part. Bible. Let them know, Dallas. Makeup Addict said in Georgia, Britt's statement about having a pow-pow can actually lead to felony charges, even though she never showed the pow-pow. So they both were. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing happened to make either of them react that way, which is why I'm like, what is going on? It's given demonic possession. Who is over there in Atlanta messing around with voodoo dolls? Because something is happening. Something is dark-sided. They're tampering in the dark arts. Something is happening because that did not make any sense. Ronnie J said exactly, kept saying, I paid girls dust and made her entire event and opening about Britt, and now she has enough ammo to make this not her last season. And it probably, unfortunately for us, had it not been for you, Kenya, this probably would have been her last season. You didn't even have to worry about that girl. And now you just made her very rich and popular. Miss Brown Sugar said, and she's had months, almost a year to prepare for this episode and news cycle, but it's just spiraling out of control instead. Sad, frustrating, and honestly pathetic too. It really is. It really, really is. Oh my God, we are talking in here. I want to try to get as many comments as I can. And then I'm going to let you all go. NC said, I'm not Team Twirl, but Andy's dismissiveness on his podcast to Brett using a pal was irresponsible and borderline racist. How many times have we heard that mall and school shooters had made? Well, listen, he's talent. I see y'all think of Andy back in the day who started this. Andy is talent. So he is performing. He's like, oh my God, can you believe it? He's the gossiping gay. That is who he's created himself in the Bravo sphere. The gossiping gay that loves the mess and lives for the drama. That's who he is. That's his character. That's who he is. So he's going to go wherever the audience goes. Ronnie J said, all this time I thought somebody with pull would get Kenya out. Not me too. I can't believe Britt of all people, not even Waffles, Britt took down Kenya. She got 2 kids, D. Hey. So I've grown to really love Kenya. I just can't, as a woman who is against sexual violence, include revenge porn, pretend that wasn't too far. I really had to check myself because I was trying to excuse it. Listen, I excused it until I watched that episode. Because I like Kenya. I'm like, she did not do that. And I saw that episode and I said, well, definitely her worst enemy. Sierra said, Kenya sounds crazy. She's acting like she's in character as the Shade Assassin, but in real life. Just a mess. El Boogie said, Kenya is wrong. Sexual assault is not great. There's so much of this that could have been brought up in court. And the fact that she wrote that out means that she really doesn't know. She really doesn't know. This is why you got to stay in school, kids. Robbie J said, I'm not excusing Brittle or Twirl. Both of them know better. It's just weird. It's just weird that it got to this point. Priscilla said, LMAO, Kenya, do you want to be back in Bravo's good graces? Not with this attitude, not with these excuses. Oh, she's not going to be in Bravo's good graces for a minute. The next time we see Kenya, will probably be she'll probably be back on the show, but Brooklyn will be going to prom. This has to die down. Miss Brown Sugar said, I hate hearing how Andy and his little crew have minimized the gun threat from Britt, though. That's part of the problem. Bravo continues to treat very serious issues as what you signed up for. No, you're right. She doesn't know, and it's sad. Maybe that's why she did it. She has no idea. If the producers knew, they should. If they didn't, they'll still be there. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? The internet said the problem is Bravo has no standards when things like this happens. Every situation is treated slightly different based off a person or the cast. There needs to be a standard across all franchises. Well, this is left up to the audience. Again, the people have the power. So what if the audience was not like fighting for Candy with the Phaedra situation, Phaedra would have still been on the show. If the audience was not like, oh, Britt went too far, Britt would not have been dealing with what she was dealing with before this episode aired. Now, with the audience being like, oh, this is crazy, and he's up on his podcast acting like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she would do such a thing. But had the audience been like, oh, Bravo went too far, Bravo did this, Bravo did that, Andy would be talking very differently. You guys have the people have the power. They just never ignited. Rachel said, at the very least, what she did was sexual harassment. For her not to see how grave this is delusional and damn near self-righteous. It's just weird. Like, how do you not know this is wrong? Ima says, internalized misogyny is why they always have to shame women for sex. And after she was called a whore for years, said that she would do that to another woman. Absolutely internalized misogyny. Kenya had already won. Why did she pull out those posters? Give me shelter. What's up? Said, hey, Nikki, I didn't know you were on. I'm jumping into rewatch. Just finished Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It wasn't worth the watch. Of course not. The second episode never is. It's the third one, the closeout. Miss Rodriguez said, Phaedra knows better than to pull those stunts again. She won't even answer questions. Dalface said Bravo has a standard. The standard is whether they can be liable, period. Britt Excited utterance, not so much. Kenya left them open. Yeah, absolutely. And then she did it in a room full of people. Bravo said, absolutely. Cut the cameras. Absolutely not. I am not paying for this. Absolutely not. Tinny said, Kenya's bad behavior stems from her mama issues and not feeling protected. Whenever she feels threatened, she comes out with guns blazing. Usually her behavior is rewarded, but this time, Kenya, start a YouTube channel if you haven't already. You need to lay low for a minute, and on that YouTube channel, your first episode needs to be you sitting down with Ayanla Van Zandt and y'all working through your issues. And your YouTube channel needs to be about you healing your trauma and raising Brooklyn. The money that you lost from Bravo, you will recoup here on YouTube. But you gotta be in a space of repentance. If you're not, girl, don't be mad. UPS is hiring, child. Don't be mad. Oh, she doesn't have a team anymore, Cameron? Oh, no. Who got beat up by her and Brandon? They've been besties since they were kids. Ciao. She got 2 kids. These say, y'all have a real question. I went back to watch the last season with Phaedra again. Did they take out the part where Phaedra made the allegation? Or was it just what Porsha says, Phaedra said? I think they probably took it out because there's a whole scene. Dalface says, but NC doesn't it make us look bad that our show's biggest controversies involve violence? I don't think so. Who's going to tell us that we're barbaric? The people that ate us? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. One or the other. She needs to stop putting her business on this show if she's not going to tell everything. Because we're going to start asking questions and we're going to find the answer and it won't be in her favor. She got 2 kids. D said, not that I was gaslit and thinking that Phaedra told the world Candy tried to R-word Porsha. I'm so glad I rewatched that season. Now I don't mind her being back at this. She never used those words, but she did say to Porsha that Candy and Todd said that they were going to drug her and have sex with her. So she didn't say the word, but she said that there was going to be an act. Which if somebody is drugged and not consenting, then what is it? Social Stuff says Shamia was standing on that sidewalk looking dazed and confused. Shamia was just like, oh, I'm too rich for this. We don't do this in my circles. Oh my goodness. Yes. I like if Britt would have walked in, I would have been like, oh, hands up, don't shoot. Something, you know what I mean? Like, but she didn't even need to do that. She already had Britt right where she wanted her. Oh my gosh. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. A hush money check? I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think so either. I think that Kenya was just being shady and Britt didn't like it because Britt came on this show with preconceived notions about Kenya. She probably watched the season or probably heard from people that this is what Kenya does. She hazes the newbies. I'm like, you haven't even got hazed by Kenya yet. The both of them weirdos. I don't understand why either of them were this angry. It does not make sense from what we see. It doesn't make sense. XO Chrissy said, if you know that's out there and about you and you decide to come on reality TV, you need to lead with that. In the words of Pokey Duneva, never let anybody spray you with their own tea. She probably thought it was buried. Because it hadn't come up. And now here we are. Oh no, Britt and Waffles aren't close. Britt's close with Porsha. Child, next season gonna be a mess. The Nicholas Express said straight from the A was near the set but didn't go in because production was either making people sign waivers or NDAs. Would the extras still be able to sue? Absolutely. But you got to have money to fight Bravo. They don't got no money. They don't got no money to do that. It happened on New Jersey. Danielle, they showed Danielle's video. Prostitution whore? Yes, that was back in the day. Listen, Kenya didn't like what the host said, but he was very true. With the Me Too movement, a lot of things were refined and written in stone. So back in the day, you could absolutely got away with that. All them housewives, working girls, please. Except the pedigree ones or, a Candy. Miss Brown Sugar said they both need some deep, heavy therapy to retrain their brains and their instincts. Britt and Kenya, not even Shakespeare will write such on the nose irony. It's crazy. Jazzy Girl said if she would have published a consenting video, Britt, I don't think it's or assault against others. It's not different than any content we run on Twitter. But she never consented to any of that. Yes, but y'all let biracials get away with anything. The ones that are more white presenting than black. Y'all let them get away with anything. And I'm not talking about you, Alana. But it's just like, of course. Everybody's just like, Ashley. And she'll get invited to more stuff. Y'all wouldn't let no housewife that look like Viola Davis do all of that and get away with the best they get away with. She's going to book more gigs. They did not. None of them did. CKZ said, y'all got to stop upholding foolishness just because you like a celeb. Kenya was absolutely wrong. It's okay to admit that and still be a fan. Like, listen, she killed it on the show. Did she screw up her check for her daughter? Absolutely. I'm sorry. But listen, you get them freaky frogs, you got to keep up with them freaky frogs. Now you're a mother and you don't want to do all those things. Okay, well, you better get used to being a single mother. You got to do what you got to do. Jazzy said, there has been plenty of housewives that flash other people in public places, destroy property, literally a physical. Tamara, Porsha, Monique, Teresa, etc. It seems to blow over. Yes, it's the same thing with Phaedra and Candy. It is intent and reaction. If any of those, and the time, right? And this was back in the day, everybody was getting away with everything. And the time, if the audience, guys, the audience gasped and left, I would have fired Kenya as well. She got 2 kids. Z said, and to think Kenya just became my fave after I couldn't stand her earlier seasons, and now I don't get to get a great Kenya season because she did this mess. Yep. Sierra said, you hear the story from Crystal Wilson. Kenya found out she was going to an audition and said she'd drive Crystal there. Kenya didn't show up, but Chris found a way there. Oh, God. She's such a showgirl. Jazzy Go said, definitely don't agree with Kenya timing, but all these housewives have been an absolute mess. Bravo messed up by not removing Britt when the threat happened, but it is what it is. I don't know these people, LOL. Listen, I get 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't think we can compare Britt threatening to shoot Kenya or get her pistol on Kenya to revenge porn and sexually assaulting an entire room full of people at your job. Like, crazy work. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Hey, Miss Hillary. Miss Hillary said, I said the same thing, Nikki. I hope children wasn't or anyone underage was there. Yeah, then it's a whole nother mess. AV Bro, what's up? Says, speaking of checks, give us some insight, please. Well, can you get paid per episode or the season? How much did they make? Sure, Porsha now carries the highest paid on Bravo. $2 million used to be Candy, and Nene was the highest paid, I think, ever. I don't think anybody's making what Nene was making. I think anybody who was making close to her was LVP. And that's combined with all of her other shows. They all get paid per episode. That's why I hate when they try to not invite somebody to an event, because what they're trying to do is cut their check. Don't take money out of another woman's hands. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So she's getting paid per episode. So as long as she shows up in episodes, she's going to get paid. But I think this is done for her. I think this is the end of her and her footage. I think our girl is done. I think our girl is done. Love Like You Are said Mark would have kept Kenya wrapped up in court for years and got sole custody of Brooklyn. Yep. And that's the thing. I'm just like, so you knew this was wild and inappropriate because Brooklyn wasn't there. NC said, quiet as is kept, Mark may still run with this and use it. He could. He absolutely could. Brittany said, I'm here for Kenya exposing Brit, but I wouldn't have showed the images. I would have dropped tidbits about another time if others looked it up. Oh, well. I would have never done that, especially to another woman. But if Kenya would have done that, she would have still been on the show. Unless the spit on that didn't work in her favor. Unless Brit had a reaction where everybody was just like, oh, maybe she went too far. I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, but that was back in the day. Reality TV was crazy. Remember what they did with the toothbrush to that white girl with the curly blonde hair on the challenge? That's why you don't see a lot of them guys on there. I can't believe Johnny Bananas is still on that show. But yeah, reality TV back in the day, when it was new, no limits. No limits. It's getting back to a dark place. It is. And it's sad. So Steph said Bravo hasn't seen it for Kenya since she got married in secret. Facts are facts. Just like any job, some coworkers get away with stuff and some can't because the boss doesn't like you. Very true. Very true. I think in this case, Kenya she did it to herself. She got 2 kids. D said, what do y'all mean they did it on Jersey? Yeah, 15 years ago when we were still wearing bumps and yeah, it was new. You could do anything. Alana said, right. I thought she just showed the little clip on her phone for a few people. That's still not called for either, but to create a poster, crazy work. I think Houston is coming. If it's not Houston, it's Chicago. I think one of those, I think that's coming, especially with canceling Dubai. Houston or Chicago is coming. I think it's absolutely coming. Miss Hillary said Bravo is a billion-dollar company that is under a multi-billion-dollar company. They're going to protect themselves first. Production didn't have poster boards in their hands or gave that information to Kenya. Kenya admitted she hired a PI. A mess. I'll never forget how they treated that girl. Oh, that was sick. Oh my gosh. Amen. I thank God you're okay. What is going on, child? I'm so glad you're safe. Oh. Always. I'm so glad you're safe, JL. Lord. Biba T, hey, said now Brooklyn's going to have to join the military because let's be real, who still goes to the hair salon? Everyone's okay. Hey, Nika. Said looks like Gollum don't pay Ashley, so gotta do something. Oh my goodness. L Boogie said, didn't it blow over with what's her name? The one who got sued by Miss Mama from Jersey, Manzo. It did blow over because she came back on the show. She got 2 kids. He said she's only been suspended for half a season. She hasn't been suspended for years. Team Twirl, it's okay. This hasn't been some big injustice. But she's not going. Wait, what? That poor baby. That was 5 years ago? That was in 2000? Really? Some people said, do you remember when Jocelyn from Love and Hip Hop gave one of the other girls an envelope empty, saying they had pictures of her doing something bad, but it was just empty? I don't have anything, actually. Oh Lord. Yeah, I think it was a long. I think it had to be almost 20. Kaylee said, "Yes, Nikki. Someone on the challenge called the fellow castmate the hard N word, and yeah. Oh, the challenge was do not. I don't even think you can watch older challenge episodes. Oh my! Remember that? CT beat up that black guy, deformed his entire face. Crazy. Oh, that show is going to be racist as hell. No, I'm thinking about Staten Island. Sorry. Rhode Island, it's giving Spiegel. It's giving Spiegel. Seattle. Okay, well, let's see. Yes. CR said you're referencing Taya Cooley being assaulted by Kenny Evan and Johnny Bananas while under the influence on camera with the toothbrush. Never forget. Give Me Shelter said, that's when Danielle poured Marge's hair in the shop. The men had a watch party and review on the show, and the women were loudly talking about. Was that over? I think we're confusing two situations. The sex tape was years ago. I remember. Prostitution whore, remember? It's given first season, actually. I don't think it was 5 years ago. Oh, El Boogie said, no, I mean Manzo sued Bravo and the messy white woman whose ex married the country singer. What's her name? She attacked Manzo in the bathroom. Oh my God, Brandy season. Guys, we would not have Real Housewives. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let's talk about the husband. That could not have happened today. That could not have happened today. Yes, CT versus Adam. Yep. At all. And he was like with his face was fully deformed from the way CT beat him up. And he was like, oh, I forgive him. Y'all better stop raising y'all black kids in white spaces. My God, today. Still. And he was even on the Traders. And he deformed a man's face on camera. Because he could. Ciao. Oh, okay. Social stuff talk about Seattle. There are a lot of rich tech founders here. Plus the Amazon and Microsoft money here in Seattle. Okay. I heard it's really beautiful there. Very, very great. My cousin used to live there. And she would send us pictures of her backyard. To die for. We've been asking for New Orleans for centuries. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I hope so. That catalog was so fun. So fun. Oh, he was out of his mind. The challenge, the early seasons of the challenge, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, yes, the cop went out of badge. You are right. Nobody. They all went and baby CT. He could have killed that man. Yep, I was scared for his life too. Now that was something I was just like, wow. Adam's face after that. Me too. I stopped watching after that. No, I stopped watching after that. I think Adam happened after Tanya. I think I stopped watching after Tanya, and then I went back in for this season. Then I haven't been back after that. It was either Tanya or Adam that made me stop watching the challenge. I haven't watched since. Well, you know, he's from Boston, child. It's in the blood. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Yes. Like I said, stop raising your black kids in white spaces. Because if Adam was from North Philly, that would have went very differently. CR said Adam is biracial, but you're right. Teach the next generation some self-respect when interacting with palm color folks. Yeah, because he was probably used to that behavior and felt like he did something wrong. And the way everybody in the cast protected CT, the challenge is awful. Those people are awful. They are Oh, okay. Guys, it absolutely did. It absolutely did. I was terrified. I was like, I think he actually went to the hospital. He went to the hospital. Everybody was scared. It was bad. Oh, it was racist and rapey. The challenge was horrible. Challenge was absolutely horrible. We're going to end with El Boogie. El Boogie said, I stopped watching after they let that guy bully the one girl, and then they sent the girl home knowing she was home. Oh, see. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like I stopped watching, but I think I checked back in for one season, and it was the season where I think it maybe was a rival season, and this girl was working with this guy from her season, and he was so terrible to her. And like at the end, whoever wins, you have to split the $1 million. That guy was awful to her that entire season. And when they won, I guess they had to get to some trail first or whatever. And he pushed her forward to get there first. Something happened where she was able to get there first before him. And I think because she got there first, or maybe there was something where they had to choose and she was the one who had to choose if they split the $1 million or she keeps it all herself. And they asked her if she was going to split the money. And she said, I'm keeping it for myself. I cheered. And everybody made her seem like a bad person. I'm like, that guy was awful to her. He was crying and he was like, I need that money, my dad. And who cares? You didn't care about your situation when you were verbally assaulting that girl. I don't know what season it was. I don't know none of them people. But I remember that, and I cheered when she was just like, I want to keep the $1 million. I hope she's doing well. I hope she's doing well. Was it Rachel? Because remember Rachel from RHOA, who was gay but started banging that guy? She started banging Darrell, and everybody was like, hold on, Rachel. Rachel was like, I'm gay, but a woman has needs. Rachel started that season, I'm a lesbian. I can't stand men. 1 week into that show, her and Darrell had that trailer shaking. Gay. I was like, I thought you were a lesbian. And I get it. Every woman has needs, but they were in a full-blown relationship. And everybody was so sick of them because they were always having sex. What a time. Iconic. She was thinking about it. She was just like, I'm going to keep the $1 million. And he was like, how could you do this to me? So good. So good. So good. Maybe he tormented that girl. Oh, see, I stopped watching the challenge way before they started bringing in other people. I stopped watching that way before then. Way before then. Anyway, Star Family. Oh, Miss Brown Sugar said the Star Family, the challenge was filled with the worst people from the real world. That's why they only wanted the outrageous ones. And listen, they got them. No people are nut jobs. You probably can't find them older seasons. You probably can't find them. Social Stuff said I needed this live. Thank you guys. And so did I. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Give me about 15 minutes so I can put the timestamps into this video. Next tomorrow will be the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I might do a reality TV chat if I have time, but those will probably be a lot earlier. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I had a good time, and I will see you soon for another live. Bye, guys. Mwah. This was fun, Star Family.